All right, so I don't know how many people are going to actually tune into this, but I would like to have a genuine discussion because this is like this is hell right now. My teams kind of suck right now. And I would like to, discuss it a little bit. So I guess we could just go over all six of my teams right now because you would think at some point one of them is going to be good. We'll get into it. Let's start with the team with the logo in the top right or the top left corner over here. The Tampa Bay Rays. Do they suck? Do the Tampa Bay Rays suck? Well, they've missed the playoffs the last 2 years now after having a pretty respectable run, 2019 through 2023. They've had a respectable run. They made the World Series once. They won the division twice. Do they suck right now? And the answer, the answer for the Rays is that I wouldn't say they suck. They're mediocre right now. But I think that they have a very, very bright future with a new ownership group coming in, with a new stadium being built within the next couple of years. I think the Rays have a very bright future, and it's hard to write them off right now. Will they suck the next couple of years? They might be mediocre the next few years, but I don't think they'll suck. And I think they do have a very bright future. Let's go to the Lightning. Do the Lightning suck right now? The answer is that no, they don't. But they're in a predicament right now. They're kind of in that Pittsburgh Penguins predicament where the Pittsburgh Penguins went back to back 2016, 2017, and after that they kept their really good core, but they didn't have the depth to take them on deep playoff runs. And that is the same problem the Lightning are running into right now. The Lightning are going to be a really admirable regular season team. They're going to continue to make the playoffs. They're going to continue to be a good team. But are they Stanley Cup champions contenders? And the answer right now is no, they're not, because they don't have the depth and they have an aging core. They have a great core, don't get me wrong, a very talented core, one that most teams wish they had. But they don't have the key pieces to get them over the top. And that's the problem with the Lightning. They're gonna continue to be good for the next several years, but they're not gonna be great. They're not gonna be an elite team that gets you deep in the playoffs. And so we really have to respect the Lightning, and we have to cherish what they're giving us right now. Because right now, they're good. They're just not great. They're going to continue to win a lot of games. They're going to win a lot of regular season games. They're going to make the playoffs every year. But they're just not going to have the key pieces that you need to have when it comes to making a deep playoff run. And that's the sad reality of the Lightning. They gave us the two back-to-back cups, 2020, 2021. Years I'll never forget. However, that's not where they're at right now. They don't have the depth and the keys to get us there. All right, now let's go to the Chiefs. This is kind of sad. The Chiefs under Patrick Mahomes, their floor has been the AFC Championship. And I'm not talking just getting there, but the worst season the Chiefs have ever had with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, the worst season they've ever had, was losing in overtime of the AFC Championship. And that's happened twice. In Mahomes' first year as a starter against the Tom Brady-led Dynasty Patriots, 2018 season, of course. And then against the Joe Burrow-led Bengals in the 2021 season. And that has been the floor for the Kansas City Chiefs. in the entire Patrick Mahomes era. Well, this year is different because they had a must-win game today. They had a must-win game against the Denver Broncos, not just to keep the division hopes alive, but to keep the playoff hopes alive as well. And they lost. And the Chiefs knew that this game mattered, and they knew they had to win this, and they lost. And this was just super disheartening because the Chiefs have been a weird team this year. A very weird team because they have the talent to beat anybody. But the execution that they've had, they can lose to anybody. They beat the Lions with ease. They beat the Raiders and the Commanders and the Ravens with ease. A couple of blowout losses in there as well. But when it matters, they lose. And this is something that we're really, as Chiefs fans, we're not really used to. The Chiefs losing pivotal games. The Chiefs losing when they have to win. And today especially sucked because they dug themselves a hole earlier this year. And they had to win today. And they lost. And they lost when it mattered. I think, honestly, the Chiefs can still get a wild card spot. I do. I really do. But they cannot afford more than one more loss. They can only afford one more loss. The Chargers look good. The Jaguars look good. We're right there with the Ravens and the Texans. And the Ravens are going to only get better because Lamar Jackson just came back. It is a season in which the Chiefs need to win every single game they possibly can. And they're losing the must-win games. And that's discouraging. That's disheartening. Today was a must-win game and they lost. So, while I don't want to write them off entirely for the playoffs, they kissed their AFC West Division Championship hopes goodbye today with this loss to the Denver Broncos. And when I say that, they may not make the playoffs, but they still can, I mean that they can only afford one more loss. And when I say that, I mean, look at the schedule. You got the Colts next week at home. The Colts have been great this year. Who knew that was coming? The Colts have been great this year. The only thing the Chiefs have going for them is the fact that that game is being played at Arrowhead Stadium. But historically, it doesn't matter how bad the Colts are. They could be led by Jacoby Brissett. The Chiefs historically struggle against the Colts. They are that one team that is the Chiefs' kryptonite every single season. I don't know why that is. I think every team in the NFL has that one team that's kryptonite to them. And for the Chiefs, it is the Colts. The Colts are the kryptonite. And so the fact that they're actually good this year doesn't help the Chiefs. The Chiefs have to win next week. If the Chiefs lose to the Colts next week, then, you probably have to give up on the rest of the season. Honestly, I think you just have to. Even if they get past the Colts, you have to play the Broncos again, the Raiders again, the Chargers again. You got to play the Texans still, the Titans. God damn, dude. The Chiefs don't have an easy schedule the rest of the way. They just don't. And what's so infuriating about today's game is I don't even think the Broncos are that good of a team. I really don't. I think their defense is elite, but I think their offense sucks. I think Bo Nix is not that good. I think their offense struggles when it matters, and the Chiefs lost to them today. That is concerning. This was a must-win game for the Chiefs, and they lost it. And now you're worried about them missing the playoffs, which, with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, that's unfathomable. That's disgusting. I think the coaching has been terrible this year. The play calls on third and short, red zone. The play calls have been nothing short of abysmal. Terrible. It's just hard. It's hard to fathom a team that has made the AFC Championship. Let me think. Let me do the math here. 15, 14, or hold on. 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 7 straight years. They've made the AFC Championship 7 straight years. They've made the Super Bowl in 5 of those 7 years. It's really hard to comprehend the fact that that same team with no key injuries might just miss the playoffs outright. And that's a hard pill to swallow as a Chiefs fan. Because us Chiefs fans, we've been so worried about passing up the Patriots dynasty, passing up Tom Brady. Well, guess what? Tom Brady, he never missed the playoffs. I don't even think he ever lost a division championship. And yeah, the Patriots had about a 10-year gap where they didn't win a Super Bowl, but they were still in the playoffs every year. It's not like they sucked. It's just it's kind of hard to fathom how the Chiefs have performed this year to this point. They shouldn't have lost in Jacksonville. They shouldn't have lost to the Eagles. Shouldn't have lost to... These were all winnable games. Chargers, Jaguars, Eagles, Broncos. What was the fifth loss? Oh, the Bills. Whatever. Bills always beat us in the regular season. Who cares? But those other 4 losses were completely winnable games. Last year, the Chiefs were 11-0 in one-possession games. This year, they're 0-5. Something's wrong. And now I'm concerned. Now I am concerned that I got to sit here and watch the Chiefs every week, holding on to dear life and hope they win every game. The only way they make the playoffs really now is if they win every game but one. They can afford one more loss, but that's really it. Are they capable of doing it? Yes, they've done it before. But this year's team just feels a little different. They got some Super Bowl fatigue. It's like the Eagles kind of just killed them in the playoffs last year, and they haven't been able to emotionally recover. It's a weird season because I've related the Chiefs this year a lot to that 2021 season where the Chiefs... The Chiefs started 5-4 in 2021, coming off a blowout Super Bowl loss to the Bucs. And it looked like it was going to be a lost cause, a lost season. And in the second half, they figured it out, and they got it together, and they made it all the way to the AFC Championship, lost in overtime and a complete collapse to the Bengals. But I forget about that year. Because, you know what? Fuck that year. And I've related this season a lot to that 2021 team because, you know why? They came off a blowout Super Bowl loss, much like the Bucs in 2020. And they start off slow, 5-4 in particular. But they still make the AFC Championship anyways. But this year, you know, they have must-win games. Andy Reid's record off of bye week is really just unmatched. It's elite. It's amazing. It's incredible. Well, guess what? It ain't the same shit this year because we just lost to a division rival coming off a bye week in a game that we shouldn't have lost. In fact, this was the first Chiefs game that I can recall in about 10 years. Where by the end of it, I had to genuinely take a walk. I had to take a walk, and I had to go self-reflect because I couldn't believe that they blew this game. It's so unlike the Chiefs, and it's so unlike Mahomes to lose games like this that it's hard to fathom that we're actually on the verge of missing the playoffs with the Mahomes-led team. It's disgusting, and it's despicable, and it's And it's inexcusable at the end of the day. It's disgusting. And I'm just disgusted that we're even in this position. And like, where do you even go from here? What do you do? Because it's not like the coaching staff has a bad record and you can just fire them and get new guys. It's not like your quarterback sucks. It's not like the defense sucks. These are all aspects of the game that have been dominant for years. And they all suck this year. All right. Moving on. We've talked about the Rays, we've talked about the Lightning, we've talked about the Chiefs. Let's go down to USF. Now, USF, this might be the most heartbreaking of all. Genuinely. Do you see this right here? Do you see this? Look at this. That is the logo of the University of South Florida Athletics. I look at this logo, and this logo gives me a lot of pride and a lot of joy and a lot of fantastic memories. Because I went to this school. And this is Tampa's college. It's not just like, oh, I live in Tampa. I just by default, I'm a fan of USF. No. I went to this school for 2 years. I lived on campus. I learned the ins and outs of campus. I partied on campus. I partied at tailgates. I've gone to several USF games, home and away. I've built a strong emotional connection to this football program and this college and this school and their programs, athletics over the years. Like, it's almost like family to me. USF to me is family because of how much time emotionally I've invested in the University of South Florida, and just beyond the athletics. And so when you upset number 25 Boise State in week 1, you blow them out. You go to Gainesville against the Florida Gators, the Florida Gators in week 2, and you upset them and you beat them. And you go on this ridiculous, crazy, unprecedented run in program history. And you're being talked about as the G5 playoff contender. You're going to get that 12th seed in the college football playoffs. The top 12 teams in the entire nation. And then you blow a game against Navy that you shouldn't have blown. And that all but kills any hope that you ever had of making the playoffs. That hits hard. That sucks. And it sucks even more due to the fact that I actually flew up to Annapolis yesterday to watch that game with my own 2 eyes in person against Navy. I flew up to Baltimore, drove to Annapolis, watched the game against Navy thinking that USF would win handily, and they lost. They lost to the same 3 bullshit running triple option plays over and over and over again, gave up 2 long rushing touchdowns to a backup freshman quarterback of Navy. And Navy is a team full of guys that aren't going to the NFL. These are guys that are committed to military service, and you fucking lost to them. That hurts. That stings. I can't believe it. It's just like, this stings particularly more because, look, with the Chiefs, it's like, okay, you're in a league of 32 teams. You have one of the best players to ever play, Patrick Mahomes. If you have one bad year, you're going to rebound the next year. You've already won 3 championships. USF is different because USF is in a big conference. They're not some crazy well-known school. They're a Cinderella story every year. They're not supposed to be good. They're not supposed to go out and compete for playoffs and championships ever. They're never supposed to do it. Never. And so the fact that this school that I went to, this school that I attended, this school that I graduated from, this school that I've devoted so much of my emotions and time to athletically, was on the verge of making the playoffs just to blow a game that they were expected to win is just sickening. And it's just discouraging, it's heartbreaking, it's gut-wrenching. And so I come back home from Annapolis after watching the USF Navy game yesterday, and I think to myself, well, you know what? At least I got the Chiefs. They've got a huge division rival game that they have to win, and they're definitely going to win. Guess what? They fucking lost. This has genuinely been like the worst weekend of sports for me since the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl in February. Like this is just brutal. So look, Rays, bright future, looking forward to the next 5 years. Lightning, declining group, aging core, following the footsteps of the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're going to give you great regular seasons, but they're not going to compete for a cup. So it is what it is. Chiefs should be in contention for the Super Bowl every year, but they're choking hard this year. They're playing like shit. USF might be the only time in my life that I'm ever going to see them compete for the playoffs, and they blew an easy win. And then like, all right, let's move on to the two teams that I care about the least. Like, I just talked about my 4 core teams, Chiefs, Rays, Bolts, Bulls. Now let's talk about the 2 teams that I'm not as emotionally invested into. We'll go to the OKC Thunder. And here's the thing. The OKC Thunder, they're going to be the best team of the 6 logos that I have on the screen right now. The Thunder are going to be the best team this year. But, like, it's not going to be close. Like, we're talking dynasty right now. Young dynasty. Youngest team to win the NBA Finals since the 1970s. They have 3 first-round draft picks next season. They have a very young core. They're going to be elite for the next decade. Like, literally, the Thunder will be elite for a long time. And they're going to be constantly talked about as, like, a dynasty NBA Finals every year. But here's the thing. Like, I've been a really casual Thunder fan over the years because it's just like I don't care about the sport of basketball the same way I do hockey, baseball, and football. I just don't. And while I can like enjoy the Thunder and be a fan of the Thunder, and if you're confused why I'm a Thunder fan, I was born in Oklahoma City, so it's just by default I have to be a fan of them. It just doesn't have the same feel as ChiefsRaysBolts and USF Bulls. It just doesn't have the same feel. And I celebrated them winning the finals this year. I bought merch for it. I was happy about it. But I'm not going to throw some big party. I'm not going to, like, fucking lose my mind over it. So, like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna support the Thunder as long as I can. Sorry, as long as I can. But it just doesn't have the same feeling as the other teams. Personally, for me. And then we'll go to this last team of mine, Indiana Hoosiers. And I'll just say right now, they are legitimate national championship contenders this year. They might win it all. They just might. And I if they do, let's play hypotheticals here. If they win the national championship, I will be very happy. Might buy a hat and a shirt, might. And I'll be celebrating mildly. But the fact of the matter and the truth is that to me, they're not the USF Bulls. USF is where I spent my prime college years. And even though I go to Indiana now as an online master's student, I've never been to the state of Indiana. I've never been on campus. I've never partied there. I've never gone to a football game. And so even though by default I can root for Indiana because I am an active student there, it just doesn't carry the same weight as actually attending USF and living there on campus and partying, going to all the sports games there. Like it just doesn't carry the same weight. And so like it's just kind of funny to me how my core four teams, Chiefs, Rays, Lightning, Bulls, are like the four teams that aren't gonna win a championship. But the two side teams, the two teams that like I like but I'm not like die hard for, are the teams that are in championship talks right now. Thunder and Indiana. If you ask me right now, would you rather Indiana and the OKC Thunder both win championships in the same year, or any one of your other four teams win one championship in the next 10 years, but I'm not going to tell you which one of the four it's going to be? Which one would you choose? Would you choose Thunder and IU in the same year, or would you choose a random surprise team, ChiefsRaysBolts, Bulls, within the next 10 years? I'm taking that group of four any day. And that just goes to show, like, my devotion to the teams. I'm way bigger of a fan of Chiefs, Rays, Lightning, Bulls than I am Thunder and Indiana. But Thunder and Indiana are both still my teams. It's just I'm not as emotionally invested in them. I'm not a bandwagon. I'm not a casual. I have legitimate reasons to be fans of those teams. I just don't have the same emotional investment per se as I do the other four. And I think this weekend USF hurt the most. Just because like we're not an SEC school, AAC, Big 10, Big 12. We're not this big football school. We never have been. And so it's like, this was the one year that you were contenders for the playoffs. The one year that you might ever have for the playoffs. And I don't know when they're ever going to get this chance again in my lifetime. And they had the golden ticket and they blew it. And that's what hurts the most. Now, did I, yeah, alright. Look, man, it's just at the end of the day, like, I'm a spoiled fan. I really am. I understand that most people, they haven't seen a team of theirs win the championship. I've seen 5 championships. No, 6. I've seen 6 championships since 2020, since the start of the decade. That's extremely spoiled, dude. 3 Chiefs Super Bowls, 2 Lightning Stanley Cups, and a Thunder championship. That is extremely spoiled. And I'm not, like, taking away any of that at all. But I'm also going to not sit here and pretend like this year in my sports teams has sucked. Yeah, I mean, look, I get it. I'm spoiled. I am so spoiled. 3 Chiefs Super Bowls. All incredible years. Back-to-back Lightning championships, which I will never forget. And then the Thunder this year won the NBA championship, which was fun as well. But right now, it's looking bleak for my core teams. Chiefs might miss the playoffs with Patrick Mahomes, and that would just be a pathetic, embarrassing failure of a season. The Rays did miss the playoffs this year, but they do have a bright future with a new ownership group coming in. The Lightning have a really talented core, but they lack depth, especially on defense. They'll be a really good regular season team this year, but they're not going to have what it takes to make the championship, I'm telling you right now. USF also has a bright future. They're building a new on-campus stadium. It's going to be open in 2 seasons. They had a really good year this year. They're going to drive in some talented recruits. I'm sure of it. and they're going to be good in the next few years, but I just don't know if they're going to have those crazy SEC upsets like they had with Florida this year, and then they're going to be in the talk for making the national or the CFP college football playoffs. I just don't know if they're going to have what it takes in the next few years to be in the contention for that, or really ever. But I think I think the Rays and the USF Bulls both have really bright futures. I really do. Like, look, in the grand scheme of things, I think the Chiefs have a bright future because Mahomes is going to have like another 10 years of great football where he's going to have the Chiefs be a competitive team. The Chiefs have a bright future. The Rays have a bright future with the new ownership group. The Thunder have a bright future with their young core. Youngest team to win the NBA Finals since 1970s. They're going to be great for a while. The Bulls are going to have a great future with the new on-campus stadium, driving in new recruits. I think they're going to be great. So that's 3 teams with a bright future. I didn't even talk... 4. I'm sorry. 4 teams with a bright future. Indiana, I think they're really good right now. I don't really know what their future looks like. They're really good right now, and that's all I care about. The one team I see on here where the future is uncertain is the Tampa Bay Lightning, because they were really good for a really long time. Since 2015. 10 years ago, they've only missed the playoffs one time. And that one season, 2017, that they missed the playoffs, they missed the playoffs by 1 point. 1 point. And I won't ever forget it because they had 2 games that year that they should have won that they lost. One was against the Colorado Avalanche and one was against the Arizona Coyotes. Both of those 2 teams were at the bottom of the league that year. Both those teams were the suck of the league. Every team should beat them. And all the Lightning needed to make the playoffs that one year was an overtime loss against either the Coyotes or the Avalanche. And they lost both of those games in regulation. One single overtime loss against either of those 2 teams, and the Lightning make the playoffs that year, and you're looking at 10 straight years of playoffs. But the future is bleak. The future is uncertain for the Lightning. They have an aging core, not much depth on defense, a new ownership group coming in. I don't know what's going to happen to the Lightning. I couldn't tell you. I really don't know. But the rest of these teams I do think have bright futures. So... in 2025, do my teams suck? The Rays do. The Chiefs kind of do. Yeah. The Lightning are not a sucky team. They're not. They just won't have what it takes to win a championship. The Thunder do not suck. The Thunder are great. The Bulls suck when it matters. We'll put it that way. They're a very talented college team, but they suck when it matters. Indiana does not suck. They're good. They're natty contenders. I hope they win the natty this year because the USF's not even going to make the playoffs anymore. But when all is said and done, like, I'm a spoiled fan. I really am. And this is the worst year I've had in a long time with my teams. And it sucks right now, but I just have to sit back and meditate and take a deep breath and remember that my teams won't suck forever. This is like, I'm hoping this is just a 1 year off thing. I'm hoping the Thunder win the championship again. I'm hoping Indiana wins a natty. I'm hoping the Rays figure out a new stadium soon and make the playoffs. And I hope that the Chiefs can sneak into a wild card. But we'll see how it goes with that. I'll see you in the next one. I have a whole video on this whole topic coming out that I recorded tonight, so you'll see that soon. And then I got some vlogs I gotta make as well. It's all bullshit. But yeah, I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. Go Chiefs, go Rays, go Lightning, go Thunder. Go USF Bulls, go Indiana Hoosiers. Those are my teams. We'll see if any of them can do anything this year.